Okay, we'll go to the public portion. I know we have a couple of people that want to speak. Gentleman in the back.
Good evening.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Joe Ciccone, 16 Oak Hill Lane, Charlotte, Connecticut. I'd like to recommend the Board of Aldermen for forming a committee for a city flag for Shelton. I believe this would be a great opportunity for us to conduct a city pride campaign, as other neighboring towns such as Ansonia and Derby have their own flag. I propose there be a public contest for designing the flag, and the committee perhaps reviews and selects one to fly over to the town. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, are you all set?
Yes.
So I met with this gentleman a week ago. And you know, he wants to do, it's not the first time somebody's asked us to do a flag on behalf of the city of Shelton. Years ago, we came up with this as a city seal. And I think the Board of Aldermen set up a committee to solicit some thoughts and ideas and some recommendations for adoption. And you know, we have the opportunity to do that in this situation as well. I think that's what the young man is asking us to do. So we will be in touch with you.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. We have Erica here with us tonight from the Shelton Intermediate School. Yep. Erica is looking for city support to buy a program for the science curriculum at, is it at SIS and Shelton High School?
At the Shelton Intermediate School. The high school currently has it for their students. Okay, so thank you for hearing about Gizmos. Gizmos is a interactive science virtual lab and simulation that aligns to our science standards and helps our educators bring a powerful STEM experience to the classroom. These virtual labs make science accessible to all students through hands-on learning and real-world experiences. It goes above and beyond the walls of the classroom. The program is easily integrated into our current technology, so we do not need anything else except for just the program. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about it. It's an interactive lab, so every student in Shelton Intermediate School will be able to access it. And it's standard based, so any standard that the teacher is teaching, it will enhance the curriculum. So after we teach the lesson, then they can have a virtual lab. Obviously, we cannot go into a operating room and operate inside of muscles. So this is a virtual lab to show us about it. I have the circulatory system right here. This would be an example of one of the lessons. Here, you could hear the heartbeat and you could see all the labels. The student can take the syringe and go into the left arm and take a little blood sample there. There's the blood sample. And we can start by showing how the actual blood goes through the body. And then what happens is after the students
Bernie Simons
joined the meeting.
After the students have a gizmo that they can be asked, and you can check the answers. There's also something really cool that they do is they have a STEM case. So they actually can pretend to be in the Secret Service. In this one, this would be a chemistry lesson, or like a cumulative lesson after you teach the chemistry lesson. They pretend to be in the Secret Service. They arrested suspects accused of counterfeit coins. And now they're able to go in and see the composition of the counterfeit coin, which obviously we would not be able to have that happen. So it has to be virtual. This is an amazing opportunity for our students and staff to engage in a STEM exploration.
Hi, we applied, we were stuck in a little traffic out there. I'm Tina Xavier, Supervisor of Teaching and Learning, and with me is Kristen Santilli, and obviously you've met the wonderful Erica McNeil, but again, she has been a big proponent for the Explore Gizmo Learning, which they had a wonderful experience of having last year, and then the high school uses it, but as she said, it's really a great tool that just makes science come alive for students and be able to have experiences that they normally wouldn't.
So thank you very much.
Can we ask a question, Your Honor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Question.
If I may, Erica?
Yes, Erica.
Erica, can they access this at their home? If they're out of school or they're sick or they're not feeling well, something like that?
Yes, they can. And something that's very exciting about it is that it connects to the Chromebooks that the students all have. So it's very Chromebook friendly.
Okay. Do all the teachers have knowledge of this, you know how to use it?
Yes, so we used it last year. We were able to use it last year in our classrooms as an enhancement for our curriculum.
So if you used it last year, I'm gonna play the devil out, how'd you lose it?
So it's an enhancement to our curriculum. So if there is funding for it that year, we have it. If there isn't funding for it, it's an enhancement.
What does it cost?
This program costs $2,000 for 777 students.
How many students do we have?
777 students.
And the other thing I'd like to point out as well, though, what Erica pointed out, is, I don't know if you had an opportunity to demonstrate it, but if we think of these labs that students are able to engage in, and the cost for classroom materials to actually be able to replicate that, you're not going to be able to do that at $2,000 for 740 students. 777 students, okay?
And if we get a new student, they give us another access.
Yeah, so it's just the opportunity though, for, like I said, these labs are just phenomenal. Students normally would not be able to interact that way with that experience.
I have a question. So is this a yearly renewal? Do you have it for a longer term at a lower cost?
Yes. Yes, there is.
What would those terms be? 3 years, 5 years?
It's really tailored to whatever you'd like to work with them with. I inquired on a yearly subscription for the intermediate school. They gave us a discount because the high school already uses it.
Okay, so if we, let's say we bought a 5-year subscription, does the program get updated each year? In other words, it's not the same program.
Actually, what I was showing you, it's like a 2-minute video, so we don't, I mean, you don't have to watch it, but this new STEM case where they pretend to be the FBI or the Secret Service, that's new this year. They have brought the real life experience careers into the science.
So this is cloud-based, so it's not, it's not, you know, it's not dated. It's just kind of continually updated.
Oh, they continually update it, and all of their worksheets that go along with it, the quizzes, everything is updated as well into different modalities, whether it's Google or Word document. They have PDF documents. There are a lot of different access. They have an electronic handbook that goes with it too, almost like a workbook.
Is it limited to STEM? Are there gizmos and other?
There are gizmos. There's a math gizmo as well.
If you had the funds today, how long would it take to get it?
Tomorrow.
Why so long?
No supply.
The sun doesn't deliver over it.
I guess the matter of just activating the accounts.
Okay.
You know,
But the other,
can you just share?
this is Kristen Santilli. She is the Director of Instruction, Curriculum, and Data Management for Shelton Public Schools.
Pre-K through 12.
Yes, that's good.
So during COVID, a lot of these programs were free. So teachers had access to them and it was wonderful. But then now they started to say no more and they're charging. So it's really a struggle because some of these teachers that got their hands wet with some of these programs, now we can't provide everything for everyone.
It would also be virtually impossible for 7th and 8th grade students to in this particular one, the chemical and physical changes, it would be very dangerous for them to do the experiment that they had here. So it's also safety sometimes in 7th and 8th grade science, you know, trumps the lab.
What
And
were
so-
they doing before though?
What were we doing
Before COVID, before everything went?
Oh, you
What was
can
the
certainly,
practice?
you can, they're still gonna learn, this is an enhancement. So they learn they're learning everything. This just would be able to show them how Secret Service and FBI agents, if you were one of them, if you would go into their lab, they have high-tech equipment that we would never be able to purchase. You could see how the coins are actually inspected, and then they can see how it is and they manipulate it.
And what this does is, like, you know, science is not about learning facts and reading information in a textbook. Science is doing. And this provides a real life application of what students can do with their science. So the fact that they're able to, you know, take some knowledge, but then pretend to be,
A doctor, everyone always thinks, oh, science, you just be a doctor. Well, this one, you could be a Secret Service agent using chemistry every day.
it's real life experience.
So I think what Lorenzo was asking, in the past, how have these been taught? Was it an actual experiment with chemicals and those kinds of things?
Not in middle school, because that's dangerous. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we know.
Or they're not- or they would be a demonstration.
It could be a demonstration, I could do it. And then the students wouldn't really have their own hands-on learning.
Well, I don't want to get too far into that with the integration of actually doing and seeing and touching things.
Like,
But,
for instance, we bring in hearts, cow hearts, but they don't touch them
Right.
because,
Yeah, right.
that's the connection to the reality.
And also the fact that they're able to manipulate and engage in it and interact with it versus, like, for instance, a teacher could easily put up a YouTube video and a student can watch a demonstration but doesn't really give them the opportunity to really think critically if they have to, like, manipulate the experiment and figure out how to make it work.
Okay.
So there are just other, you know, we talk about science practices and what we really want students to be able to do. This provides that opportunity.
Would this replace any books that you would have to purchase? Like, you were saying that there's
No,
a cost offset for replacement of materials and that kind of thing.
no, this wouldn't be a cost offset for materials. This is an enhancement to our curriculum. So we teach the students about chemistry, but obviously they can't do these, experiments on their own. So now we could show them and they can actually, like Tina said, do them.
So it wouldn't be a replacement of a curriculum piece?
No,
It's
it's
an
an enhancement.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want you, we are still teaching our curriculum.
No, of course, no,
Yeah.
I'm just saying as far as materials, not here, take this computer and go home and.
Yeah, and of course we do labs all the time, but when you have like chromatography, it's very expensive to do something like that. As a 7th grader, you're not going to necessarily get to see that or be able to manipulate it. But if you have something like this, you understand it. Then when you get to high school or college, if your college has, a chromatography or if the high school has that, they're able to see and do. It exposes them earlier on in their science career to.
Well, and in their comfortable setting. I mean,
Yes.
this is how our kids learn. I mean, that's what they do.
Also, I think that with the integration of the STEM careers, it really engages them saying like, oh, maybe I do want to learn a little bit more about science, because me just standing there telling them you could use this in the FBI and then they actually can pretend to be in it and do it kind of gives them a little bit more personal adjustment to it.
Okay, well, thank you very much for an FYI for the board. Erica is the granddaughter of Joe DeFlippo and daughter of Christina, Joe's daughter.
No, Diana.
Oh, Diana, I'm sorry.
You guys can come anytime you want to see a gizmo in my classroom.
Can I just ask one question before we end? $2,000, not that much money, but is there a discount if we committed to 5 years versus 1 year, and so you don't have to come back next year?
I can certainly ask them for a printout of,
Different pricing. And
different
also,
pricing.
we purchased it with the high school. Obviously, there's a discount as well. And we know currently the high school uses it, but we'd have to get some more information. So I'm
Excellent.
not as proceed with that.
Yeah, they can send your invoice. to-
I do want to thank you for the
Thank you
opportunity
very much.
on behalf of the BOE as well as our superintendent Ken Sarnik for this opportunity to be able to explain about this wonderful program for our students. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else wishing to address the board in the public portion?
Thomas Harbison, 15 Soundcrest Drive. That was very inspiring. Reminded me of my 7th grade science class, doing with a scalpel opening up a worm and looking at the circulatory system. So I can imagine 777 worms and all that activity could be done a lot better virtually. Thank you. Come to the board with a couple items. I've been to the planning and zoning a couple times over the past several months regarding a restaurant downtown, and I'm hoping that perhaps the Board of Aldermen would be able to accomplish some success that hasn't been accomplished yet. In front of this restaurant on the Pierpont block, they have tables and boxes, and it's an obstruction to pedestrians, but it's a total obstruction to somebody who's in a wheelchair. So I'm hoping that maybe the alderman could nicely speak to the restaurant owners about the blockage to public access there. Additionally, they have an antique car that has been a Fiat that's been parked in front of those tables to kind of give a sense of security for their patrons when they're dining. And despite what some may think, parking is at a premium downtown. And for a car to be perpetually parked in a downtown location when there's other restaurants down there, it's just not good practice. But the police department apparently said there's nothing they can do. So in that regard, I'm not looking for the city to put in timed meters like there used to be, but in your charter, there is a municipal parking authority still on the books, and parking is an issue downtown that has numerous complications, some of which are being solved by private investors, but perhaps utilizing that tool could create some successful opportunities downtown. The second item is regarding ATVs and quads. Now speaking as chairman of the Conservation Commission, we have had some issues with quads tearing up trails, particularly down in Birchbank area. It's a problem that comes and goes during the years, but some of our trail cams have captured the imagery. Our natural resource manager has delivered that information to the police department. Unfortunately, we have not had the courtesy of a simple reply. I understand in an investigation, you may not want to reveal what you're doing, but when we don't even get a reply or acknowledgement that they've received the information, it gives the sense that it's being dismissed. And I can say that in my vocation, I've spent the past 2 days cleaning a field because of quad damage. It's an issue in downtown. A couple years back before the COVID, I followed quads in front of St. Joe's in downtown doing wheelies. So it's a public safety issue at times. So if the chief of police can be given a prodding to give that some attention. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to address the board? Hearing none, we'll close the public portion and move on to the regularly scheduled agenda. First, we have minutes for approval, 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3.
Move to waive the reading and approve the following meeting minutes. Board of Aldermen special meeting October 6th, 2022. Board of Aldermen regular meeting October 13th, 2022. Public hearing on ordinances October 25th, 2022. So moved.
Second. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Before we go on to there are no items for 5-1, 5-2, or 5-3. Under the report of the mayor, I just wanted to inform everyone, for those of you that know George Ryan, a longtime Shelton businessman and a member of the greatest generation in America, passed away in his mid-90s in Florida about a month ago. George is, as you know, he is Curtis Ryan Honda up on Bridgeport Avenue, and they've been there since the 60s. He was very involved in the ongoing activities in Shelton. He was a member of the senior commission for a time, and I even think he was on the Economic Development Commission years back. But George is one of those guys that had a nice way about him, voicing his concern without, unlike today's society where they have to demonize you every step of the way. George talked to you like a gentleman. He talked intelligently, and he was well informed and had the best interest of this city at heart. He lived up in Huntington, I believe up in Tower Lane for a number of years. And his wife passed away during COVID. She was also in her 90s. They spearheaded the senior dancing down at it started at the senior center, and then in the summertime, we moved it down to the pavilion in downtown. And they used to draw quite a crowd, I might add. So George is also a veteran. Again, he served in any capacity that he felt it was important to make America great. Unlike most of the people that lived during his tenure. So. Okay, John? No, it's a report of the president.
I have the report. Did we vote on the minutes?
Yes. Okay, so item number 6 is legal report. We have 6-1 Corporation Council building.
Move to authorize a total payment of $2,012.50. Corporation Council, Tenocio Static LLC, for services rendered for the November 7th, 2022 statement, with funds to come from legal fees account.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6-2 is the Assistant Corporation Council building.
Move to authorize a total payment of $1,699.50 to Assistant Corporation Counsel Thomas Calvin Carter for services rendered for statement dated November 2nd, 2022, with funds to come from the legal fees account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Item 7-1, we have 7-1A, the amendment to ordinance 892, the anti-blight amendments. We have a motion for it too, right?
Yes.
Move to amend ordinance number 892, anti-blight amendment, chapter building and building regulations. Article 3, anti-blight, section 3-41 to section 3-45, which is included by reference. Further move that this ordinance be published in summary form with a full copy available for review in the office of City Town Clerk. Public hearing was held October 25th, 2021. 2022.
22, right, that's a type 22.
Type of rate.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made second. Is there any discussion?
Go ahead.
The only change, pardon me, the only change is, in section 4, it's in red. It went to you did go to your committee, street committee?
Yeah, went through street committee, it passed, just for the board to know that, we discussed it with the corporation council. He said this is fine, it doesn't change the structure of the ordinance, it still gives 45 days. But after that period of time, then to answer Alderman McKinnon's question was, they do become the repeat violator, and then they get the maximum fine, so they don't get the courtesy anymore of the minimum. But council did say it was fine and we can't pass it.
And this is per incident, not per violator, I guess.
Well, it's about, they call it incident or violator, they're one and the same. So if you're blighted property.
Yeah.
You know, and everything, so you go through the process initially, then you you become in compliance, you're back to being non-blighted, then let's say, a couple months later, you're right back to it. You don't get the benefit of the courtesy letter and the,
So it follows.
Right.
It follows
it
the.
still follows the process, but they get the maximum fine now because they would be a repeat violator.
So it follows the person.
Well, it follows the property.
Proper.
Right.
Okay.
It's not an automatic that they get the maximum fine. It's still the prerogative of the enforcement officer to determine what the amount of the fine will be. But you can imagine that the repeat offender, it probably is going to be higher, but that's still his
Right.
his call.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8 is financial business hold. 8.1, the amendment to action taken at the July 14th and October 13th Board of Aldermen meeting with regard to the steep grant, Housatonic Riverwalk extension.
Move to amend the following resolution passed at the July 14, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting regarding the steep grant for Housatonic Riverwalk extension along the Housatonic River at 223 Canal Street. Be resolved that Mayor Mark A. Loretti be and is hereby is authorized to accept on behalf of the city of Shelton the 2022 Connecticut Steep Small Town Economic Assistance Program grant in the amount of $120,000 for the extension of Housatonic Riverwalk and appropriate the required share of $25,000 with funding to come from Board of Aldermen bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. Further, resolved, Mayor Mark A. Loretti is hereby authorized to enter into and execute any and all agreements, contracts, and documents necessary to obtain said 2022 steep grant with the state of Connecticut. So moved.
Second. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? This has been before us 3 times now. We finally got it right.
So is that what this is like? Did they just say that this isn't something you can use the,
Not eligible for our share, our cost share.
okay,
Those funds, so we had to go to
Those
the
funds.
source.
yeah,
The next one is in the same category.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Now, I see item 2 is the same thing for the canal lock, but this motion included, it is not? Is there one motion for the both of them?
No,
Or am I reading
no, the 2 separate motions.
This was the Riverwalk.
8.1 and 8.2.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I didn't pick up the wrong sheet. Okay. All right, so now 8.2 is same rationale. Couldn't use the American Rescue money as a cost share.
Move to amend the following resolution taken at the October 13, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting regarding steep grant for canal lock park restoration and preservation. Be resolved, the Mayor Mark A. Loretti be and hereby is authorized to accept on behalf of the city of Shelton the 2022 Connecticut steep grant in the amount of $120,000 for the canal lock restoration and preservation, and appropriate the required share of $30,000 with funds to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. Further resolved, Mayor Mark A. Loretti is hereby authorized to enter into and execute any and all agreements, contracts, and documents necessary to obtain said 2022 steep grant with state of Connecticut. So
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, this takes us to item number 9, financial business noon. 9.1 is November statutory refunds.
move that the report of the tax collector relative to the refund of taxes for a total amount of $15,960.45 be approved, and that the finance director be directed to make payments in accordance with the certified list received from the tax collector with funds to come from the statutory refunds account. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Are any opposed? Motion carries. All Officer Van Ice, is the coast clear out there?
Just a few out there.
Okay. All right, item 9.2 is the funding for the copiers for various city departments.
Move to appropriate an amount of $50,000 for 7 copiers purchased for various city departments, with funding to come from American Rescue Plan funds. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded, discussion. The rationale for this is simply that a lot of copiers are up in age and their warranties have expired, so what we spend on a monthly basis for repairs is telling us it's time to buy something new. So, and there is enough money in there to purchase another copier in the near future. I think we'll probably look for someone else. All righty, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.3 is a resolution relative to designating bank institutions as depositories for the city of Shelton, facsimile signature.
Move to adopt the following resolution. Be it resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Shelton that the following banking institutions are hereby designated as depositories for the City of Shelton and are hereby requested, authorized, and directed to honor checks, drafts, or other orders for payment of money drawn in the name of said city, including those payable to the individual order of any person or persons whose name appears on them. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., TD Bank, N.A., Webster Bank, M&T Bank, Liberty Bank, Bank of America, N.A., Newtown Savings Bank, Bankwell, when bearing or purporting to bear facsimile signatures of Mark A. Loretti, Mayor, and when said checks are countersigned by a treasurer or finance director. The bank shall be entitled to honor and to charge the City of Shelton for such checks, drafts, and other order regardless of whom or by what means the actual or purported facsimile signature or signatures resemble the facsimile specimens duly certified on file or filed with the banks by the finance director of the City of Shelton. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. This is boilerplate stuff. We do this every year. It just authorizes us to deal with the different lending institutions within the city.
who is M&T Bank?
People.
I understand there's some problems, a lot of problems with M&T. Should we be?
Yeah, we don't have a choice. They have our general fund and other funds, so we don't have a choice.
Are they resolving that?
It's done by issue.
As like.
You can call them and ask them.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Okay. This takes us to item 9.4, the over expenditure for the registrar of voters office.
Move to approve the over expenditure of the following registrar of voters office accounts due to expenses incurred from the August 9, 2022 primary through the end of fiscal year 2022-23. So moved. I want me to read them?
No, it's just
Okay.
let the record reflected.
Yeah.
It's in the packet.
Right.
The printing and advertising, part-time, election equipment, poll workers and postage.
Right.
Okay. Any questions? Any discussion?
We've done this before.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.5 is the funding for the Shelton Intermediate School Explore Learning Gizmo.
Move to appropriate an amount of $2,012.08 for the district Gizmo Science Department license for students of Shelton Intermediate School with funding to come from American Rescue Plan funds. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by McPherson. You got the presentation. So everybody should be okay with everything there.
Is Erica Light McNeil, is she a doctor?
No, she's the science coordinator at the Shelton Intermediate School.
Okay.
I do have a question. I propose that we wait until we get a different breakdown of the schedule of packages. So that we can maybe determine whether it'd be a better savings if we went for a 5-year, whatever their levels up are.
Well, I don't look, we can always revisit that, and we can do it administratively, if and when it comes back, we really want to get it started, the school year's in motion.
Yeah,
It's November already, the marketing period's almost over, so,
Okay, so we can keep the.
yeah, we can keep the issue alive, if there's, if
They're gonna-
you want to extend it for a couple of years, I think maybe what I'll do is just have Teresa notify everybody and take a poll as to what your thinking is, and then we can just fund it out of the youth programs.
Sure.
So,
Great, something.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion carries. Okay, item 9.6 is the reimbursement of invoice to Shelton Economic Development Corporation for taking care of business lunch.
Move to reimburse the Shelton Economic Development Corporation for the receipt dated October 20th, 2022 for the taking care of business luncheon held at a Palio restaurant in the amount of $3,972.50 with funding to come from contingency general account.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
I wasn't invited.
No, there wasn't enough room. Yeah, you weren't the only one that didn't get invited. I had one woman call me and say that, she's insulted, she didn't get invited, she's a small business owner. I said, there are 1,500 businesses in Shelton, the room only holds 100 people. We'll get down the list with the next one.
Yeah, but didn't you say that she said she couldn't come, Karen, or was that?
Yeah, she said she had to work, she couldn't come anyways. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion carries. Next item is 9.7, Board of Aldermen resolution regarding the Moss property and contiguous city property.
Whereas the city of Shelton during the last 2 years has endeavored to continue the extension of Constitution Boulevard West of and perpendicular to Bridgeport Avenue into and through its so-called Moss property and contiguous city-owned property. And whereas the city of Shelton is now in the process of subdividing and selling property, and whereas the process is better served by a city selecting those parties and uses which are more advantageous to the overall harmonious development of the subdivision. Now therefore, the Board of Aldermen, finding the process to be in the best interest of the city of Shelton, authorizes the sale of a subdivided parcel of property to the below purchasers as follows. Purchaser ARP Welding LLC, intended use welding manufacturing. Approximate acres 3.94, price per acre $85,000, building square footage 20,000 square feet, due diligence period 120 days, zone 1 IA1. Further, move that Mayor Mark A. Loretti be authorized to finalize and sign contracts to complete the sale.
Second.
So motion is made and seconded. Discussion. This is right along the lines of what we did last month for 4 different properties, 4 different businesses. So this I think probably completes it. There may be one other piece, but I'm not sure at this point. In any event, that's where we're at.
Good to see so much interest in that,
A lot of interest. A lot of people got left out. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next one is 9.8 is funding for body armor for the police department.
Thank you. I'm wondering if we need it for the aldermen as well. Move to appropriate an amount of $20,000 for body armor for the police department, with funding to come from the American Rescue Plan.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion?
I thought we bought by anybody, we didn't, it's just.
Body cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just hired 4 or 5 more new officers, so that's where this is gonna go. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.9 is the purchase of property at 0 Leavenworth Road.
Move that the city of Shelton purchase approximately 8.14 acres, assessor card map/lot 1539 at 0 Leavenworth Road for purposes of open space for a sum of $300,000. With funding to come from automatic bonding pursuant to section 7.16 of the city charter. And that the mayor and corporation council be authorized to sign any and all paperwork necessary to complete purchase, including but not limited to obtaining a favorable 824 referral for planning and zoning.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, this is roughly 36,855 an acre, just to. And it is subject to a favorable plan, a resolution from.
Yeah, I think that Kelly was at the zoning meeting last night. Go ahead,
Yes, we
Kelly.
did receive a favorable referral from the planning and zoning commission last evening.
And this piece gives us how many contiguous acres up there?
It's 75 contiguous acres.
Right along the mountainside up by Indian Wells on 110.
Yes, the overlook.
Is this part of a kind of a larger vision? Or, yeah,
It's completing a vision.
It's
That's
completing.
been in the works for a long time, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just, it must be going up the hill.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the left-hand side door up there. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Item 9.10 is funding for the articulating boom lift.
Move for the recommendation of the Director of Finance to waive the bidding process for the purchase of an articulating boom lift in an amount of $17,500, and funding to come from the American Rescue Plan funds.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded, discussion.
We're being asked to waive bids, but I find it difficult. How would you bid? How would you go out to bid for a used lift?
Well, it's painful. I mean, there's no guarantee
It's a
that
no-brainer.
if you don't have the money to pay for it after you win the bid, then it goes to the next bidder, if there is a next bidder. So it gets very tricky and complicated. I would like to offer an addition to this motion. And it would come in the form of an amendment. See, we have a lift already. But the one that we found is a bigger lift that has the ability to do more things. So my suggestion is that you authorize us to sell the old lift. And we'll do it through purchasing. Unless, you know, the Board of Ed may have a use of their own for it. You know, oftentimes they need to.
Well, there's a procedure, and so we just follow the procedure.
Yeah, but I wanted to just, I'm gonna check with the Board of Ed, if they don't have a use for it, you know, for parking lot lights or gymnasium things, I mean, they have some tall buildings where they, like we do, that we need to,
Areas to get at.
you know, get to, so, you know, I wanna have the board's authorization to just sell it.
I'll amend the motion to authorize the mayor to sell the old lift, which is now, once we get to know it's gonna be
Obsolete.
obsolete.
Well, no, it's not obsolete, it has value, but this one has more value.
Yeah.
This one makes life a lot easier.
Right.
maybe
You
making
don't-
the condition that
We don't
if
need
there's
to,
no other departments that would.
we'll get something for it.
Yeah, we don't need to,
First check.
it has that.
If the board of ed, you know. That's fine.
All right, so there's an amendment on the
So
floor.
What is the amendment? Let's hear the amendment, the whole amendment.
I said, amend the motion to authorize the mayor to dispose of the existing lift vehicle that we have. Because once we get the new one, it'll be on.
Oh, boom, articulated better.
Particularly,
And with that, he can either turn it over to the Board of Ed or he can sell
yeah.
Right.
There's a procedure in place to do that. And you don't need the alderman to vote on authorizing it to be sold.
Okay, so, there's a second on the,
Second.
motion, there's a second on the amendment, we'll
Second.
vote on the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, motion carries, now we'll vote on the motion as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries. Takes us to item number 10. There are no items for 10.1. Item 10.2, we have a variety of different meeting schedules that have to be adopted. So item 10.2 is, will be all inclusive, it will be the full board, public hearings on ordinances, finance committee meeting, public health and safety committee meeting, street committee meeting.
This is scheduled meetings throughout the entire year. And everybody has this in front of them, the list, right? Everybody has the complete list, so. Just move to adopt the 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting schedule as listed in 10.2A, 10.2B, 10.2C, 10.2D, 10.2E. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Pretty boilerplate. We do this every year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion carries. Okay, this takes us to item number 10.3, the appointment to the Citizens Advisory Board.
Move to appoint Janelle Beardsley to the Citizens Advisory Board effective immediately. And Janelle Beardsley, she is a Republican, there's minority representation is required. She lives at 6210 Road Lane, Shelton, Connecticut. Phone number will be listed as well. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, motion carries. There are no items for executive session. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Oh. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Happy Veterans Day to everyone tomorrow. And